Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about the netYCE and Cramer integration. And on my screen you already see a process flow. So what happened here is netYCE does a request from Cramer using a certain ID. Cramer responds with the dataset which holds the entire information of what is supposed to be happening. netYCE will extract that information, and on that information he will make sure that the mandatory values are valid. So we'll make sure to check those. Once everything is checked, the engineer is presented with a list of nodes that are valid, which are selectable. Other information is shown, but will also show the errors and that might need to be rectified. So upon selecting those nodes and going to the next step, we make sure that the per node basis we are using all the features, conditions that are optional in the design to make sure that everything is built according to what Cramer has provided us. Okay, we make sure that we recognize modifications as well. As I mentioned, Cramer sends the entire information which holds the current truth. There are no diffs in comparison to last time from them, so we check against our database to make sure that there are no differentiations, and if there are, that we do mutations on them, so we modify the database and the network accordingly. We also recognize therefore the deletes, or if you want to call them the terminates, so we terminate devices, bits and pieces of configurations as well, whatever is necessary. So we modify the database accordingly. We prepare the jobs that need to go out to the network, and those include mutations on CPEs and whatsoever, but also on the upstream devices. So the distribution layer, or if there's a ring involved, we touch all the nodes that are necessary, the PE configurations. We also do the monitoring system, so Spirent and Data Miner, where we communicate to their API to provide them with the updated or new information, or if something was removed as well. So all those jobs are now prepared. The engineer is then questioned, when does he want to schedule those jobs? There might be a involvement for maintenance windows, those might be necessary, or if they want to do it right away, that's possible as well. So all those jobs go into the scheduler, and depending on your situation, that could be a single system, could be a redundant system, or it could have a distributed scheduling where you have multiple nodes to each of those edges of your network where it needs to communicate to those. So the system will figure out, according to the rule set that it has been provided, to go out to the necessary server. Let's have a look on how that actually looks in netYCE. So here you see an overview of the services that have been saved here. They have been stored in the database. They had been pulled from the Cramer system. So let's just have a look. If we select one here, there's one with 2 nodes, so that might be interesting. So let's have a look. We press process. Here you see the first step, validation. As you can see, both nodes are selectable. No errors in these nodes, so we can continue with the next step. In this next step, you see a lot of lines. Each line represents one or multiple API calls where there are checks being done on a database for checking what information is already present. See if that gives a diff or a delta between what we have and what was in the Cramer dataset to make sure that we recognize those mutations as well. So you will see that there are some exists and some new things have been performed. So these are all API calls to the database that can be done from this wizard. Could be using external APIs as well. You see a lot of those, and all those things are just building blocks, right? So for creation of a node, or adding a VRF, linking that specific VRF to the PE, the CPEs, adding subnets, adding ports, linking those ports to subnets, that's all happening here. So that's all done automatically for both the CPE, as you see in this case. Okay, so let's go to the next step where we see that the jobs have been prepared. So we see for this specific node, we see 2 jobs that have been prepared for both PEs. As you can see, there is a job for the Spirent Data Miner to add that specific new CPE. Okay, so we can select all of those. So for both the CPEs, or deselect those to make sure that we only do one. Okay, so let's have a look. We schedule it for our maintenance window, 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. We schedule those. So as you can see now, those have been scheduled, and we can have a look at the things that are scheduled over here. So you see those. We can have a look inside, that you see that already the configuration has been built and has been set ready to go. Whenever this specific time is there, it will be pushed towards the network. Okay, so you see IPv4, IPv6, the whole thing that is needed for this specific service enablement. Okay, here we have another one for the Lumos information. A whole lot of things happening here. A lot of this is background, so you only see variables here, so not much to show here. This is more of an automatic process. Okay, thank you for watching. Hope to see you in the next video.